So hello everybody, it is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. As y'all can see here, I have my green screen. Yeah, he's still bald. um, for whatever reason, my green screen option on this side is not working. Maybe it'll pop on later, who knows, but it doesn't matter. I'm still here, so forgive me for the green screen not functioning properly. Anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, but you're a family, and sometimes we share the link. All it asks is if I share the link and your screen looks like this, please show me this. And then if you're not comfortable, you can go back to that. Just know that no one else can see you but me, not even Donovan, until I bring you up to the big screen. Again, especially if I've never seen you before, just show me your face and then you can go back out. Also like to say to those in the comments section, it's not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. And also on the panel, so we need to be respectful of each other. Also like to say a big giant thank you to my moderators. You guys are the bomb. You are dope and dynamic and everything in between. Thank you for everything that you do and making sure that the comment section goes smoothly. All I ask too is that, unless somebody's really being disruptive and doing the most, don't block them or anything like that. And if they're doing too much, try to get my attention and I can, decide, what to do. But you guys know if people are really just, being unruly, then do what you got to do. Nevertheless, today we're going to be talking about a case that I came across because we spent the last, I would say, 4 months talking about politics, and we're still going to talk about it here and there, but things are still settling. People are still mad and shaving their hair bald and a whole host of other things that they're doing because they're upset. But there's still things that we need to talk about that's going on in our community, right? Things that we have, I believe, direct control over. So we're going to get into it. So we're going to talk about 3 men being sentenced. Well, actually, it was 2, but being sentenced to 320 years. And I put spraying. And those of y'all who know, spraying up a Sweet 16 party last year. We'll get into more of that in just a bit. And then I'll go into the comment section. Let's see who is here first before I give it to Donovan. One who cares, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Complex Blackness, what's going on with you? Gary Mack, how you doing? The Church Lady, Troy. Let's see here. Volvo, hi. No reparation, no vote. How you doing? Clifford. Buckhorse, how you doing? H. McDaniels, hope you're having a great day. Brother Don, what's going on with you? And Coley, how you doing? Samuel C, what's up with you? And Mildred, hope you're having a great Sunday afternoon. Donovan, how you doing?
Well, Monday Night Football, the Cowboys will play. I don't know why anybody needs to watch. We're in a rebuilding mode. My season is over. My backup team, the Raiders, aren't doing well this year. I mean, it's just been a bad year. The only thing that I could be happy about, Demetra, is the fact that Donovan called the election correctly, and I'm very, very glad that a lot of Black people have woken up to what the Democratic Party has not done for them. And as Black people, we are starting to mind our own business, because now you're seeing videos. I don't know if you guys have seen it. You've seen videos from the Arab Americans, the Asian Americans. They're talking about that they screwed up because they didn't support us like we support them. And they want us to come back and, and champion their issues and stuff. And we're like, nah, we're good. Thank you, but no thank you. I mean, for 4 years, we've been hollering about the Asian crime bill. And I have a lot of Asian friends, right? Did you notice the silence? Did anybody notice the silence? They got a crime bill and protection. And we were saying, what about us? I didn't see one Asian representative, senator, or anybody say, yeah, wait a minute, you need to protect them before you protect us. I mean, they're the ones getting choked out in the streets. So that's another story there. But anyway, glad to have you guys back. It is 3 p.m. where I'm at. And when it's 3 p.m., that means it's Demetra K time. So here we go. We've been doing this for a long time, 8 years. And if you guys want to donate, there's ways to donate: Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, cash, money orders, all of that great stuff. Like I said, you guys are the, the true backbone of the show, because without you guys, Demetra and I would just be talking to ourselves, and she would have hung up on me a long time ago. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. On that app and on the YouTube channel, you can get the Emancipation channel, where Demetra also puts out great videos and a lot of content contributors put extra videos on different types of subjects and different things, not just politics. So you can get the African Diaspora News Channel app, as I tell you guys all the time, on Google Play in the Apple Store, or you can go to YouTube, subscribe there, become a member. I do the annual membership, and I'm done with it at that point. Once we get enough people to subscribe there, the revolution will not be televised. We can speak the way we want to speak and do what we want to do. Also, I want you guys to notice a lot of the Democratic trolls have disappeared. Have you guys noticed that? Not only was she, Kamala Harris, paying these entertainers, she was paying Negroes and whoever else needed the money to troll these pages and, you know, and try to take the conversation in a different area, and it didn't work. So my thing is this. As a recovering Democrat, a lot of you guys are now waking up, and basically you're in recovery if you're waking up and seeing what's going on. Ask yourself this question. If her policies were so good and she really cared for Black people, why does she have to pay entertainers that are supposedly her friends? Why do you have to pay these people to support your platform? I'm not against anybody getting their bag. It's just the idea of ask yourself, Demetra is my friend. I don't charge her for supporting me or doing anything that she needs to do in regards to my benefit or something that I'm going to do. But ask yourself that. Where's D.L. Hughley? J.J. Mars says, where are these people? I mean, it's just ask yourself these questions. And if you guys get invited back to the Thanksgiving this year, and Demetra, I saw the video on the Emancipation Channel and you talking about that. If you guys get invited back, people are going to bring up, wow, you're a Trump supporter or whatever. They're going to bring up, right? Bring up those points. Why did she feel she had to buy people to support her? You got it, Demetra.
Hello to everybody that's come on here. Your average logical thinking brother Reggie Arson, how you doing? Marathon Blue, how you doing? Says people are minding their business because those people didn't vote Democrat. Okay, Bogani, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else is on here before I get started? I'm just seeing some of these comments. Talia, how you doing? Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Says peace and love. I knew the subject is 3 men that got 120 years. You says, but there was a recent development where Biden just authorized Zelensky to strike deep into Russia. World War III has just been declared. That definitely we'll have to look into that as it is news to me about that. Daryl, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Monet, what's going on with you? JJ, and I think that's it so far. Okay, so let's get into it for the sake of time. This is one of those subjects that I don't enjoy covering, but it needs to be covered because, again, we spent a couple of months here talking about the Republicans, Democrats, Kamala, Trump, and everything in between. But there's things specifically in our community that need to be addressed, and this is one of them, unfortunately. Trisha, how you doing? So I'm going to show you all the video of the sentencing first, and then I'll get into the particulars of what happened. So here we go.
Is that he will receive a sentence of 20 years imprisonment in the Department of Corrections. With regard to the other two defendants, Mr. Cotman and Mr. Coleman, the court imposes a 5-year sentence on each weapons charge to run consecutive to all other sentences imposed in the case. With regard to the aggravated assaults, the gang charges, the criminal damage to property charges as to both defendants, it will be the sentence of the court that each defendant receives a sentence of 20 years imprisonment, and those sentences will run consecutive to each other and consecutive to the 5-year sentences, with this exception. To the extent that each defendant was convicted of aggravated assault as to a named victim and a gang charge as to a named victim, those sentences will run concurrent. So the net effect of the court sentences, as I do the math, is the court imposes a sentence of 320 years imprisonment as to Kingston Cotman and 320 years imprisonment as to Timothy Coleman. That's the judgment of the court. This matter is adjourned.
Okay, so I'm going to remove that again. There were two individuals that were sentenced to 320 years. One was sentenced to 20 years. Now I'll read you guys basically what happened. So this is per Fox News 5 Atlanta. Says what led to Douglasville Sweet 16 shooting. It says Chief Superior Court Judge William Bowe McLean presided over the trial where evidence pointed to a confrontation sparked by a social media remarks about a fellow gang member's suicide. While attacking a young man that they believe made the comments, they began firing into a crowd of kids with automatic weapons. Police uncovered flock camera footage that linked Coleman and Beverly Smart to the crime scene in a 2008 Lexus. Says cell phone data placed the other defendants in the area at the time of the incident. Now, there were other defendants as well. So it says Michael Williams, Noah Bradley, and twin brothers Chase and Chance McDowell took plea deals for lesser charges earlier this year. So that happened last year. And it says Williams was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 30 years plus 5 years. Bradley was sentenced to 20 years to serve 5. The twins will be released after serving 12-month confinement. Now, the two victims, Ajane Hill and Samuel Moon, they were 14 and 15. There were also 8 other teens wounded in that shooting. Says that, I guess, 2 houses were shot into. Again, it was behind a social media post of, I guess, a gang member that took his life. Now, the judge that presided over, and I listened to the whole sentencing, he basically says that we need to send a message. He says it's an issue of deterrence, retribution, or rehabilitation. Now, he says, I don't believe, well, he didn't really touch on the rehabilitation part of it much, but he says we need to send a message to deter others from doing this, because he says this, and this is what he said, this is the worst criminal case in Douglasville history, is what he said. The worst case because there were so many kids involved. It says in his 40 years of presiding over the bench that he'd never seen anything like it. And so, again, those 2 individuals, they did not get charged with murder, but they did get charged with gang affiliation, having guns, and a whole host of other things. Again, they have gotten sentenced to 320 years. They have 30 days to file an appeal. But as I saw that case, and some of those boys were actually 17, so they were, minors when that took place. But of course, they got tried as adults. And so this is a very loaded conversation. I know some people say, well, they're not my kids, so why I have to worry about it? But they are our kids. I'm the old from the old school that I do believe that it takes a village to raise the children. But as I said, this political season, we talked about other things. We need to start talking about things that go on in our community, and how do we stop something like this from happening? Because it's not an isolated incident, as the judge said. He says something like that happened last year that he had to preside over, but not quite to that degree. So I want to ask you all, how did we get here, and how do we leave here, and that we are raising more, I guess, better, conducive children to our community? Because regardless of who's in that White House, those children are in our house, and they are our responsibility. So we need to figure out how to go about righting what's going wrong in our community. And hello to everybody that's come on here. Donovan?
I'm not going to take too long, because I want to hear what everybody else has to say, because again, we learn more from you guys and your opinions and your thoughts than actually us speaking. But I kind of get weirded out when I hear people keep asking the question, well, what's going on? How did we get here? Whatever. We know damn well how we got here. The lack of the father in the home, the rise of the single mother destroying the communities, us not being together as a people. I mean, we know the parameters of why, and it's done intentionally. It's government sanctioned, done intentionally to break up the Black family. And thus you have young men, and I'm going to assume those are young men. I didn't really watch the video with you guys. I was listening to those young men there that are being raised, and I'm going to assume they're being raised by predominantly females. They have been preconditioned to go off of their feelings more so than their natural man logic. And that's basically what I see in the community that's happening. There's a reverse type situation. So it just behooves me when I hear people say, how did we get here? Like, we don't know. Look at the drill rap. Look at what society is pushing on these people, this propaganda that they're pushing. And I just get tired of the excuses that we make. Like, we don't know what's happening. We know damn well what's happening. When mom or dad is not home and they're working 100 hours a week, the kids are raising themselves. They're out in the streets, whatever they're doing. We know what's happening. The drugs in the community, the glorification of the drugs, the glorification of criminality. I have a nephew right now, even though he jokes about it, he acts like he identifies with thug life, and both his parents are in the military. And I look at him and I just ask him, what the hell makes you think you could ever be gangsta? I'm more gangster than you will ever be. But this is the type of stuff that pervades our children. We let the TV raise them. We let the tablets raise them. All of this other stuff. So how we got here is no surprise. The question, what we should be asking is, when does it stop, and what we're going to do about it to right the ship? I think in the last few years, this far leftist agenda with the trans and all this other stuff, people are realizing it's gone too far, and we have to get back to some common sense principles. And again, if you like what I'm saying or not, the fact of the matter is, fundamentally, Black people are conservative by nature. That's a fact. It's just this BS tropes that are put into our communities that are making us be accepting of stuff that goes against our conservatism. I mean, I'm not stopping two people of the same sex from marrying each other. I'm not stopping a man or a woman who wants to change their sex. I'm not stopping that. But I don't damn well have to agree with it. And that's what we need to get back to.
So let me get down to some of these comments, and then we can get a little bit more deeper into this. But of course, you said you blame the parents. Okay, facts, not feelings. He says not to excuse their crime, but this was a white supremacist sentencing. I listened to the sentencing, and I think the judge made a lot of sense. He was like, we need to deter this. Like, we need to send a message. Now, I do believe 320 years is basically life, right? You're not getting out unless they appeal it and some other outcome takes place. But he says we need to deter this because those were teens, and he said this affected 3 high schools. So there were teens from 3 high schools in the area attending that Sweet 16 party that was shot into. 8 kids were shot and 2 died. So 10 children affected altogether, all over social media, post or whatever the case is, with obviously gang affiliations. And so I guess we could blame white supremacy, but is that really going to help in the larger scheme of things? Now, overall, I think there's a bigger theme with that, but I'm talking about most directly. How do we fix that? Miss White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Freed Mind, what's going on with you? Says the more kings lost to this penal system, just imagine if they use that energy for something positive, we would be naming kingdoms after Tell. Okay. Angela, how you doing? And Coley, rather, he says they love to overcharge Black males. Yeah, I mean, I think about that. I don't ever like to see any kids go to jail for life, because I believe once when they're men, they become men, they'll probably think differently. But then, how do you explain to the parents of the 2 teens that are not here? You know what I mean? Over something senseless that had nothing to do with them. They weren't even the target of the shooting. They were just at the party, right? So what do you say to them? Brother Reggie says 2 teens, 14-year-old Janae Hill and 15-year-old Samuel Moon were killed. I'm confused as to why they weren't charged with murder. I think because it was a whole bunch of other people involved. Sounds like some other person is doing life, so I'm not quite sure what their role was, but it was some other ones as well that are doing life sentences. Let's keep it a buck. 320 years is a life sentence, right? YFN says facts, we on our own. Okay. And let's see. I love my ad block. How you doing? He says we must separate from Pookie Ray Ray. Oh, Jara Quavius, well, damn. Effeminate Antoine, prison punk Paul, and 4 baby daddies Pam. Wow. Wagani says facts over films agree. Arneva says we got here by rejecting our true messengers. Absolutely. JJ says, where are the parents who raised these knuckleheads? Good question. Let's see who else is on here. Astrological Thinker says, keep it real, Donovan. Easy says, the drug game, the music. Gary, he says, facts, lack of fathers. Okay. Jade, how you doing? Says, black men don't take accountability. Let's see here. Thank you, one who cares, for asking everybody to hit the like button. Facts Not Feeling says, we are the judge going to send. When are the judge going to send a message to the likes of Daniel Penny, who deleted defenseless, homeless Jordan Neely, and give him 320 years? Well, if I understand, that trial has not started yet. If it has, it just started. I know that his Daniel Penny, his lawyers are trying to get it all thrown out, but they're like, no, you must stand trial. Of course, that took place in New York on the subway, where a black homeless man was choked to death by a white man who felt like he was defending people when the homeless man really wasn't doing anything to anybody. But Facts Not Feeling, I love you dearly, but I need to say that Daniel Penny has to answer to what he did. And these teens that shot into 2 houses, killing 2 teens, injuring 8 others, they got to answer to what they did, because they are not married together. They did not do what they did because Daniel Penny did what he did. Now, I agree. Daniel Penny, I think he should be charged, obviously capital murder, and he should be charged to the full extent of the law. But that does not absolve our children for what they're doing to our people, right? And I know you mean well when you said that. Let's see here. Jay, how you doing? Said they should get more years than that. Ooh. Key 5, how you doing? Says, how y'all two doing? We're doing fabulous. Brother Donnie says, we have to deal with the seduction of this culture they created for this younger generation: drugs, sex, money, bravado. I'm going to get to it. I just want to get to y'all comments. And Damon, he says, straight lack of focus on black empowerment. I like that. All right, let's see. Who else? Miss Tiffany, how you doing? Yes, you made it right on time. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Says, politics doesn't matter. Y'all signed for this. Okay, I don't even know what that means, or what are we doing here? Tanaya, how you doing? Long time no see. Says, to all the moms and dads, this is on you and Donovan. What you're saying is bullshit. Black men need to hold themselves accountable. They're black guys, so deal with the consequences of your behavior. Let me get it. Hold on a second. Roz, how you doing? Blessings to you. Chantel, how you doing today? Nathaniel, what is going on with you? Easy says, did you check out the documentary? Not yet. I just got through watching a couple of other ones, but that one's definitely in my rotation. I'm getting to it. I Am Chosen, how you doing? Says, I believe their sentences is justice. If they would have gotten a tap on the hand, I believe other youth will see that and keep this up this foolishness. And that's what the judge said. Nubian King, how you doing? Says, I don't care who don't like this comment, but this crap and hip slop garbage got my peeps effed up. Okay, Fresh Air, how you doing? Says, I blame black exploitation movies of late 60s through 70s. Thank God for breakdancing in the 80s movie. Okay. Woo! Hold on. Trisha says, societal principles have been displaced people taking authority from the homes, reducing parent power. This is the issue for me. Got it. Arneva says, the madness will stop when we stop following the ways of the heathen. Got you. Jay says, who cares about same sex? That's for them and God to decide, not my problem or my business. I ain't trying to sleep with them. Whoa. All right. Facts Not Feeling says, yeah, they should be sentenced, but they are children. I agree with you. I don't think children should go to jail for the rest of their lives either, but I'll get more into that. Mike Nice, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lady D says, the protected group owns these record labels and pushes this BS. Oh, y'all, I got a lot to say. Hey, Brother Perry, how you doing? Okay. Let's see. Alex, how you doing? Says, okay. All right. Corey, hello to you again. Larry Lindsay, how you doing? Says, we need to look at the black community. We own nothing. Our black kids don't see us own nothing. All they see is sports and rappers. Now we getting closer. Let's see. Diane, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I just want to acknowledge everybody that's come on here before I give it to Donovan, and then I give it back to myself. Matthew, how you doing? Dear self, how you doing? Jedi Skywalker, he says, yep, facts, proof, evidence, truth is God, the law, huge, massive God, our creator is not man or woman, small creator, so God can lie. What? God don't lie. Okay, you tripping. Anyway, on Code TV, how you doing? Says, this is appropriate behavior doctor, the inappropriate behavior Dr. Anderson talks about. Absolutely. So, Donovan, did you want to say something?
Of course. Let's go back to Tanaya Smith. And Tanaya is a longtime listener. And this is why we have these conversations, and it's how you respond and how you deal with it. Tanaya says, to all moms and dads, this is on you. And Donovan, what you're saying is BS. Black men need to hold themselves accountable. They're Black guys, so oh well, deal with the consequences of your behavior. I totally agree. But in this society, when are men not held accountable? Are those two men in court right now getting sentenced, those young men getting sentenced? Yes, they are. Are men held accountable for children that they don't want, but you guys, but women make us sit in child support court, and we told you we don't want the child, but yet we still have to pay for the child. We just can't walk away like women, but you women could have a baby, give it to the fire station and walk away. So where's your accountability? This society is built on men being accountable. No matter what we do, we are accountable. If you're married and you did something, they're not necessarily looking for you. They're looking for your husband, the man, that name that you are wearing. We're always held accountable. And again, Tanaya, you're a longtime listener. I don't know if you're a feminist. Maybe you are, because you sound like one, because that was a very, very, in my opinion, bad response to what I was saying. That's a very bad response, because in this society, men are always held accountable. When a woman gets in trouble, you can see it on YouTube all the time, and put a 1 in the chat if you guys haven't seen this. Some of those arrest videos, what's the first thing a woman says when she gets in trouble and she ain't doing what she's supposed to do? Oh, I'm a single mom. I got kids at home. That's the first thing she says. Like that's supposed to give her a pass to get out of jail. Come on now. Let's be real. That Black judge that was down in Georgia that got arrested and got kicked off the bench, what was her defense? What was her first defense? I'm a woman. Oh, I shouldn't go to jail. I'm this, I'm that. Wait. You assaulted an officer, so because you're a woman and you're a judge, you're supposed to get special treatment? Come on now. This society is built on men being accountable. I can't walk away from my responsibilities, even if we agreed, hey, I don't want to do this, whatever. No, you guys come back and you put the law on me. I'm held accountable. But the minute a woman gets in trouble, fellas, tell me if I'm lying. Ladies, tell me if I'm lying. Oh, I'm a single mother. What does that got to do with it? Oh, well, I had to go strip because I'm a single mother. That's you guys' go-to card. You never want to be accountable for what you do because you're a single mom. Oh, Kamala Harris lost the election. It's misogyny. Oh, it's a man's fault when a majority of men voted for her. Come on now. Come on. Moving on.
RC said, Donovan, the response is epic and very eye-opening to anyone playing dumb here. Men are definitely held accountable way more than women. Also, I see a lot of people putting ones. I think we're probably divided down the middle. Lady Blue, you say stop having sex. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit more to it than just the single moms, right? Because as I always say, you cannot have a single mom without an absentee dad, right? And the child did not get here by himself or herself. They got here with the help of a mom and a dad who decided to lay down, whether they liked each other or not, whether they were responsible humans or not, and they procreated. We forget that the function of sex is to make a child. That is the number one focus. Humans have made it everything else but that, right? So then when the child comes into the world, we have to make a conscious decision as parents as to what child we are going to send into the world. Are we going to pour something into the child that they can use? Now, I will concede this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that 75% of his work was with the woman because she is responsible for raising the child, raising the nation, 25% with the man, right? Within that, he was teaching the woman to be better selective in the selection process of who she decides to mate with, because you need to vet that man from inside and out to make sure that he is a good choice, right? However, that does not excuse the man. Now, I know it's easy to say that a lot of these people are in prison due to raising a single parent household, predominantly in our community, single mom. But there are children who are turned out into the prison system with 2-parent households as well. Now, we know that we can speak to economics, education, a whole lot of things that ails our community, systemic and institutional racism. However, there are things that we can do to solve a lot of that. We know that in our community, we give away we make rather 1.3 to 1.7 million, and some say trillion rather dollars, but we only keep 97% of that, giving away 3%. So that would solve a lot of things, because where there's a community where there's a lot of crime because there's resources that are lacking, then again, there's a lot of crime, and then you have maybe the single mom that has to work, leaving her children unsupervised. I don't know where the father is, regardless of where the father is. As Dr. Ava Muhammad said, God rest her soul, that because the father is not in the home, that does not give the excuse to the woman to raise children that are wayward, right? However, this is not a time to play the blame game, because those children, whether they come from us biologically, they belong to our community. And as long as we continue to point the finger at the woman, we point the finger at the man, we're going to have our children out there in the streets filling these prison systems, who the prison system is designed for them, right? We know that predominantly in any prison in the United States is Black people in those prisons, and they are filling those prisons up with our children. So again, we can play the blame game, we can point the finger, but I'm going to have to, side with some of the men and women, particularly a lot of the ladies in here. A lot of times men complain about having a child, but he wasn't complaining when he was hopping up and down on that woman like a trampoline, when he didn't put nothing on it, or he didn't take 2 seconds to say, do I want to spend 18 to 24 years with this woman? Would I marry this woman? Do I want to raise a child with this woman? And any of those answers was no, then you should have zipped your pants up and walked out the door. I'm just saying, because if we going to assign blame, let's assign it everywhere, because that lady did not get knocked up by herself.
Absolutely. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. But the point is, this society is built on the fact that men are held accountable all the time. At the end of the day, men are held accountable for that. So that trope. And Tanaya, again, this is what we're supposed to do. I love that you brought that up.
Let me ask y'all this. What? You're saying that the men are held accountable all the time. What does that got to do with these boys, specifically talking about these boys who are going to do 320 years? What does that have to do with men being held accountable all the time?
Nothing right now. I'm answering her question that she said that was BS. It has nothing to do with that. But in the aspect, though, those boys that are young men, they're sitting there being accountable, period. When like I said, all I'm doing is proving the fact that men are held accountable. I don't want a baby with you, but you're going to make me a father. I still have to pay at the end, even though I didn't want that.
But why?
Wait. You women don't want a baby. You could murder the baby without the man's influence, and you're not held accountable. See what I'm saying? The system is set up that way. I know people don't want to accept that, but it's true. If I accidentally hit a woman and she loses her baby, I'm charged with, depending on what state it is, with capital murder. Capital murder. If I'm in an auto accident and there's a pregnant lady there and she's killed and the baby's killed, I'm charged with 2 homicides. But a woman could go around under the Kamala Harris regime, because she was running on that, abortion, right? You could legally do that. But if I'm the father and I say, well, I don't want the baby, so I'm going to do this, God forbid, this is just an example, I'm going to do this to you, I'm charged with the crime. We're held accountable all the time. We are. So it's about accountability, answering that question. What it has to do with these 2 young boys, it could be a lot of parameters to why they're in that situation. And like I said in the beginning, when we ask ourselves, well, why are they in this situation? Well, there's tons of reasons why. But I would say the number one economic reason that a lot of these young people are put into these situations, and Dimitri, you and I go back and forth on that, because 70% of Black people live below, at, or just above the poverty line. And when it comes down to the money, look at our neighborhoods, look at where we live. The majority of us live in declined areas. That's just a fact. We're not living in the suburbs. We're living in the inner cities. We're doing these things, and it's about survival. So it's no surprise that this thing happens. And again, Black on Black crime, white on white crime, it's all about proximity. It's very unfortunate what happened to these young people. And I'm with you, Dimitri, even though we're kind of different. Those are our children at the end of the day.
The Truth Seeker, how you doing? Says some men are forced to be held accountable. Let me go back to a comment. Then I want to go to something that I wrote down. Let's see if I can find it now. Let's see. Where did it go? Raymond, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Where did it go? Oh, I am chosen. He says, but the mom can put the dad out for any reason. So now as the head of your house, the responsibility is on you. How is a man putting himself in a position to be put out of a woman's house in the first place? See, that's the problem. I don't think we really address anyway. What kind of man will move in with a woman? First of all, and that let's keep it a buck. There's a lot of men who move in with women, and then that woman put him out. I mean, why is you moving in with a woman in the first place? The other thing is, Donovan, I need to ask you and these men, and the women can answer too. Why didn't you hold yourself accountable before you got held accountable? And that if you didn't want to be with a woman and make a baby with that woman, hold yourself accountable. See, that's the problem. I'm not going to say just in our community, but I'm going to say largely, we don't take accountability for our own actions. There shouldn't be no woman holding you accountable in the first place if you would make a better choice and not lay down with a woman and put a baby in that woman because you have something to do with it too. Laying down with that woman, impregnating that woman, and then you say, oh, I don't want the baby. Yeah, you're right. That baby is in that woman. So she has the choice to say, I'm going to keep it or whatever. But you should have held yourself accountable before you even got in that situation. See, because I'm not one of these people, and some of y'all that are new on here, we haven't had this conversation a long time. I'm not one of those people that like to choose sides because I believe the truth is in the middle, right? It's the woman's fault and it's the man's fault that you produce a child that is wayward and neither one of you give a damn about. Period.
Absolutely. And we're in agreement with that. Like I said, there's blame on both sides. But at the end of the day, this society is a patriarchy. And even though women are fighting the patriarchy, ladies, if you believe it or not, outside of the United States, the patriarchy is strong. There is no matriarchy outside of anything. Only in the Black community is the matriarchy semi-strong or whatever. But I will say this as a man. If a man is involved in his son's life, he's going to teach his son, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. He's going to teach his son that, okay? So the chances of him likely being wayward is no big deal. I have two sons. They don't have it. Well, yeah, I have two sons. They don't have any children that I'm aware of. And they're almost kicking. One's in their 30s, one's in the late 20s, right? Because I told them this, and this is what happened to me, or whatever the situation is. How many of you guys, because of the matriarchy, you will see a young man, 19, 20 years old. He has a baby mama and another baby on the way, and the mothers and the aunts don't say a word. Oh, baby, don't worry about it, my baby, whatever, because they have picked up traits of women. They have picked up traits of women, like, oh, it's no big deal. You know, that girl don't be doing nothing to you. I can't tell you how many women, when their nephew or their son or their whatever is put on child support and they're going through that child support system, how they say how unfair it is. It's unfair. Mary J. Blige is one of the main ones. The laws are unfair. Oh, that's right. She shouldn't have to pay no man no money. I agree with you, ladies. She shouldn't have to pay in a society like this. But guess what? The laws are made the way they're made. And unfortunately, in the patriarchy, because these are old laws, men were held accountable. You just can't leave your family and the mothers raising the children in poverty.
Hey, Perry, you say those are the breaks when you're doing it, saying, oh, baby, it feels so good. Now you're in trouble. She's pregnant. Yeah. Al, how you doing? He says, Black people care more about sex and other races want families. Oh, boy. I'm going to say this. I heard the hoe into a housewife, but the problem is y'all be pursuing the hoes trying to turn. Matter of fact, y'all ain't even trying to turn the hoes into housewives. And then when you get her pregnant, then you're mad that she ain't housewife material. In fact, my feelings, you said, let me go back to your comment. You says if moving in with a woman is so bad, why do women keep persuading men to move in with them? Let me say this. Are you a man or your mouse? Not you fast, not feeling, but are you a man or a mouse? So y'all cry so much about black women, are ruling and running the community, but then y'all like concede all power. They don't want to make you move in with her. Any man worth his weight, no doggone well, you don't move in with no woman because mad day could come, and mad day often comes, and then she throw you and your 2 hefty bags out on the street, and then you looking crazy. So why would you move in with a woman? My daddy is 80 years old, not for as long as I can remember. He said no man move in with no woman. He says I would never move in with a woman. I would never allow a woman to take my manhood by moving in with her or any of that other stuff. He says I'm the man. Okay. I'm gonna set up a place and all of that, but moving in with a woman, ain't no woman made you do that, brother. You did that because you wanted to. So at what point do we, when I say we, I mean y'all men, say we're gonna stop blaming women for everything? Because I hear y'all blame women for, the black community is a matriarchy, which it is, and it should not be, right? It should be at least balanced, or the man should be ruling. That I agree with. But why do y'all continue to concede the power of your manhood to a woman? That is on y'all. Ain't no woman around, not your mama, your auntie, your baby mama, your wife, or nobody should be woman enough or man enough to take your manhood as a man. When y'all gonna stand up and start saying, nah, I got this, Betty, sit down?
Yeah, I really think after this election, it's woken a lot of people up with the Democratic Party. Because like I said, a lot of us are born and raised Democrats. Most black people are Democrats. Most of us are. This acceptance and moving this stuff and just being tolerant and stuff. We're starting to move to the right now. People are saying this is some BS. We're not doing it anymore. But Dimitri, real quick, because this isn't the topic. Real quick, did you hear about that Disney star, Char Jackson? The real cute girl. She was a real cute little
I know what she
girl.
is, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, she basically got pregnant by a Ray Ray, and she's going through it right now. Here's an example of what. Here's a girl, and when she met him, he was in jail, pen pals or whatever. And it don't matter who she falls in love with, whatever. But for the life of me, it takes two. The men have to make better decisions. The women have to make better decisions. Why would this woman think that this man who already has children, whatever, would be a good choice for her as a father? And now she's going through it, I guess. I just saw a few videos on it. And this is one of the problems that we're having in our community. And it's, it's on both sides. Both sides. The lack of a father in the home is significantly a problem. And I think with this last election, people have opened up their eyes, and we're going to move back to the other side. So back to the topic at hand with these young men. I would almost bet my hat their fathers were not full-time fathers.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with Char Jackson, any of those things. I mean, it's not unusual for people to hook up with the wrong person per se, or whatever the case is. But if you make a child, it is up to you to figure out how to get along so you can raise a child that is conducive to society. Black, it says the oldest blame. It says talking about the Garson, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Timex Love, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says we both have to take responsibility, men and women. Yes, Talia, how you doing? Big Bo, how you doing? He says he said that back rent when rent was $75. Mrs. Vision, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Facts and Feelings says, what is this black people making a woman being pregnant as a crime against the guy who got them pregnant? When did a woman being pregnant become crime if she no longer likes the man? I don't know if it's a crime. But my thing is, especially in the United States, you're dealing with a system that is more favorable to the woman. You knock a woman up, the system is going to more than likely make the man responsible for it. I don't know why it is. It just is, right? But again, the system was made by men. But I'm going to back on off of that because y'all ain't ready for the truth. But since you know all that is going on, why lay down with a woman you ain't trying to be with? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the woman is silly for letting a man treat her like a trampoline she ain't trying to be with either. But I mean, once you create life, you need to sustain it. That's just the way it is. JJ says some black women think black men who are bum and losers are desirable men. I mean, you will never get no arguments out of me on that. I totally agree with you. Miss Tiffany says, I'm old school. Have your own place, move in when you're married. Yeah, get something together, right? You know, get married, all right. We're going to do this, that, and the other, but just moving in with people, especially people you ain't really know like that. Yeah, I said you ain't really know. You ain't really know like that. I mean, you could just be walking on eggshells. You know what I mean? Because you never know. Raven, how you doing? Says it's sad because a lot of Black men have been told to sow your wild oats, get as much as you can get, but responsibility was never included in regards to a pregnancy occurred. Yeah, that is in let me see. That's a message that spread. Let me go back to your comment. Not just Black men, but men in general. You know, get out there. You're young. You know, jump on as many as you can. You know, that kind of thing. But then, like you said, teach the other part of that is that you can make a life that you will have to be responsible for. There is no, you know, they say there's no such thing as something, some freebies or whatever, too much of a good thing or whatever it's going to cost you. That's the same thing that goes on. I don't know. I'm just like, maybe I'm from Mars or something. I don't know. It's just simple. You stick your thing into the hole and the hole makes a light. You have to be responsible. When I say you, I mean the mama and the daddy. And then you put that child out into the world and they out there and they shooting up sweet 16 parties and things like that. And then you're mad because your child is doing 320 years. But what did you cultivate into that child to keep them from doing that? Or what did you put into them to make them think that that was okay and they were going to go home, go to sleep, and go live their life the next day?
Well, again, it's been proven the lack of responsibility on both sides has led to a modern genocide of Black children since the 1970s. It's been estimated 24 million babies have been aborted since then. And those children would have had children that would have had children. So again, that is why we're at a deficit. That is why they say we haven't grown in our population, because unfortunately, the feminist movement, under all different types of things, as well as irresponsible Ray Pookie behavior, has said, oh, I don't want to deal with this. So my answer is to get rid of it. I'm a firm believer. Most of us on this planet are here, especially those of us in Generation X, is because it ain't because our parents wanted us here. They were having sex in marriage or whatever they were doing, and they just dealt with the situation. They just dealt with the situation. But then in the 70s, somewhere along the line, it became, oh, girl, you're going to ruin your life if you had this baby and da-da-da-da. And you're taking your daughters down to the Planned Parenthood. And, you know, and instead of them learning from that behavior, because Demetri, I believe you have, what, 8 kids? No, I'm just saying. Demetri has 1 child. And the reason you have 1 child, there's a reason why, right? I only have 2 children. There's a reason why I stopped having children. And that's what it comes down. And everybody's situation is different. We get that. But majority of deletions is due to bad decisions and basic irresponsibility. That's just a fact. It isn't the mother's sick or her life is in danger. She was raped in incest. That's a lie. Most of that is a cover-up of a bad decision-making.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because of economics. If more women had the money to take care of a child, they would keep the child. That is statistically been the case. So yeah, Trisha Trampoline and Blackie says, y'all saw Nazis marching in Columbus. Yeah, I saw them marching in Columbus. But what that got to do with us? Are we scared? Nazis been marching for a very long time, since, you know, over 100 years now. What does that got to do with us? I'm not saying this about you, Black, but we still got to do what we have to do in our community, right? We gonna tuck tail and run because Nazis is marching in Columbus. We still got things to do. We got Ray and Pookie and them shooting up the sweet 16 parties in our neighborhood, and we scared of Nazis. See what I'm saying? And I know I've seen all of the conversation on Twitter. They talking about it, Trump's cabinet being all white or whatever the case is, but the politicians in the Black neighborhood are mostly all Black. But we don't have no conversations about that at all, huh? I'm just saying. And Nicole, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. Facts Not Feelings says, if we only had sex with a woman we want to be with, our population would get to 0 and we would be extinct. Okay, well, I mean, then stop crying about having sex with any and everybody and getting them knocked up, and then you have to be up in court and talk about this is what you need to pay. Stop crying about it then. If, you know, because I hear that argument, or we gonna, mate with as many. All right, then you better get your money up, homie. Get your money up. If you're gonna just be laying it wide and low with everybody you meet, get your money up, because you may get her pregnant and she gonna want you to be responsible for half of the baby. Where R. Kelly said we're going half on the baby. Well, that's what the hell that meant. Marathon Blue, you says it said that it takes, I think it says sad that it takes a system to make them accountable. I mean, I'm just saying. Monet says Demetrius has nothing to do with the topic, but how's Walter doing? He's doing fabulous. I need to reach out to him. I started to call him today, but I forgot. But I will. F these YouTubers. How you doing? He said the system. YFN, he says stay horny, okay? Frederick says if a woman has a baby that she can't take care of, the government gives her benefits, food stamps, housing, etc. A man gets a woman pregnant and he can't provide for it, he goes to jail. But if y'all know that, why y'all keep hopping up and down on these women? I'm asking. Y'all know that. None of this is a secret. None of this was a discovery to you when you got hit with them papers from child support, the welfare system, whatever it was. None of that was a secret to you. You knew that. So why is you hopping up and down on a woman if you know that you're going to be held more accountable than she is? I'm not denying that's the case, but you know that. At what point do you become, and listen, I don't care if y'all get mad at me, I really don't. I'm going to sleep really good at night. But you cannot call yourself a man and keep dodging responsibility, okay? Because that lady did not get pregnant on her own. You were there with her. You knew you didn't want to be with big booty Belinda. You knew you wasn't going to be walking her down the aisle and none of that kind of stuff. You got your little 2 minutes of fun. And she said, hey, how you doing? I was late this month. And you were like, well, what you want me to do about it? Well, I want you to be responsible because you was there with me. It wasn't the Virgin Mary. This was not by divine conception. You was there and you ain't Joseph. So you know this, then why are you crying about it?
Yeah, well, the thing is, again, a lack of fathers in the community, because as a father, I don't want my kids to go through the child support system like I had to do with one of their mothers. And once that child is schooled from a man's perspective, he has a better understanding of it. I see these boys that are raised by pretty much by their mothers. They almost have no respect for their mothers because they're bigger than their mothers. They're their mama's angels. That's my baby. They do it, whatever. Matter of fact, your average logical thinker, she has a video channel. You guys go there and check out your average logical thinker. And she has a son, and he's a young guy, cute little guy, looks just like her. And she was like putting him in situations to where he had to learn. And what she did wasn't from a female's perspective. It was more from a male's perspective. And I thought that was the right thing to do, because sometimes you have to learn by, doing something hands-on. And he learned from that. We don't have a lot of mothers that have that type of knowledge, because a woman sometimes can only teach what they know. So I don't blame women for, it's a fact you can't raise a man. There's only so much you can do. But at the end of the day, though, when the father was removed, I'm telling you, and I think it's statistically proven, if children are raised by a single father versus a single mother, the children do better in most cases under the single father.
Absolutely. Facts and Feelings says exactly, Donovan. This crazy idea that you should only have sex when you're trying to have a baby is absurd. I mean, well, anything else is going to make you a father, and you don't want to be that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the only reason, but have that with somebody that you're with, right? Have that with somebody that you're like, oh, okay, you got pregnant, bet we going to be parents. Do that with that person, but to be hopping around like a grasshopper, just hopping on any and everything because it lets you. And first of all, y'all, talk a lot about these women who allow Ray Ray and Pookie and them to hop up and down on them. But a lot of y'all ain't Ray Ray and Pookie, and y'all not discriminate about who y'all jump up and down. Yeah, as a man, you should have a little bit more pride too, as who you rocking and rolling with and treating like a trampoline. But see, y'all don't care. Lights go out, it's all the same. But
it's not the same. No.
Well, I'm just saying,
real quick, Marathon Blue says, so Donovan wasn't in the home with his sons either. See, I want you guys to see her response to that. She knows nothing about me, has no clue, but just like Kevin Samuels and all these other people used to say, guilt, shame, and ridicule, whatever the thing was. You don't know nothing about me. I was raised with my children. Unfortunately, for you to be able to say that, majority of the time I wasn't with my children because I'm in the Middle East fighting wars for you. So please know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Quibba, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Curly Girl says, my daddy words, you had her and him, and you take care of her and him. You want to go with your friends, take her and him with you. Yeah, I have that type of mama too. That's why I got one, because my mama made sure I raised mine. Wasn't going to be bringing back no whole bunch of children or saying, hey, mom, can you watch my child while I go to the club and kick my heels up in the air like a goalpost? My mom, I didn't have that type of mama. She said, you had her, you going to raise her. Now, my mama did help me. And you know what? Ooh, my mama been gone 8 years today. 8 years today, and I never forget her. And as rough as it might have been sometimes when I was like, Mom, well, I never really asked her to watch it, like if I want to go do things, because I just didn't. I stayed home, with my child or whatever. She watched her and stuff, but I learned a lot from my mom. And I'm glad that I didn't have that type of mama that was like, well, yeah, that's my baby, and eat my baby. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have that type of mama. My mom was like, yeah, you had her, you gonna raise her. And like I said, I had one child because I that's just all I could do. And I didn't, me personally, just me. I didn't want to have a bunch of children by a bunch of dudes. That was just me. I'm not judging nobody else. I just did not want that to be the case for me. But God rest my mama's soul. She taught me, yeah, you gonna take care of her. And her father was there too, even though he got on my damn nerves. I love him though. Anyway, let's see here. Who else is on here? Bakari, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And for those of y'all came on late, my green screen thing ain't working. Hopefully it'll figure itself out. I don't know. Nubian King says, Demetri, black men can't jump up and down on these females unless they let them. It's a two-way street. How come she didn't keep her? I said the same thing. I totally agree. I mean, it is a two-way street, right? Unless it was taken, which in most cases is not. It's a two-way street. But listen, all I can do is be responsible for me, okay? If I don't want to have a baby or be with some dude, I can't have no kids, no way, thank God, right? But if I don't want to have a baby with somebody, I'm not going to lay down with him. See, I wasn't that type of woman. I'm not just laying down with any and everybody because I get the itching. No, I was not going to do that. You can't just be hopping up and down on me. You know what I mean?
Let me get this straight. All those years in school, and you were hopping the fence to go see your boyfriend at Ramona.
I had a boyfriend at Ramona. I didn't have no boyfriends, okay? And Demetri was always a productive girl, okay? I was always productive doing things. Did not spend my time being hopped up and down on like a trampoline in high school, okay? I was the president of the BSU. I was in choir, track, and a whole host of other activities that I was doing from the time I got to high school to the time I graduated, okay? I was a busy girl. Just want to put that on out there. Larry says we need to put a stop to women going on TV and saying that they don't know who the father is, like LeBron James' mama, how she doesn't know how she has sex, and white people are calling him fatherless.
Mm-hmm. Mandatory DNA. Why are women against it? It's been proven a third of all births in the United States, the father isn't the father, but yet women don't want mandatory DNA. Talking about men being irresponsible. Let's do the other side. That's what I'm saying. We could do this all day. We both play a part in this, men and women. And now that people are opening up their eyes and they're seeing the crap that the Democratic Party was selling to the black community is not working and is not good for us, we are now moving more to the right. And that's what we need to do. These Ray Rays and Pookies, all of that is going to come to a stop very, very soon because that's not getting us any money. We are being extinct. California, as I've said on this show several times, is your example. We have no voice here. You don't even live here. They've economically moved us out and moved the other group in. If you can't get reparations in California, where are you going to get it? We have a super democratic state here. So we got to stop all this foolishness and this divisiveness within our community and get to the business. And the business is the men go out there with the women supporting us and we fight the good fight and get what is ours. That's what we need to do. I'm sorry, ladies. I don't believe in women going to the front lines and fighting. I don't believe in that. Be in the back and support. We'll take care of the rest.
El Hombre Negro, how you doing? Says don't do it. Okay, let's see here. Frederick says when the boys get 13, Keisha ain't talking about nothing that boy wants to hear. I mean, I guess. I mean, I raise boys, I raise teenage boys. I have a biological daughter, but I raise 2 nephews and a niece. And it was not always easy, but guess what? I wasn't no punk. See, I didn't let no kids run roughshod all over me. Now, they daddy was around, don't get me wrong, but predominantly.
You still don't.
Yeah, no, these kids don't run roughshod over me to this day. You know what I mean? And they love me dearly. They call me every day, all day for advice, any and everything. You know what I mean? But I never let no kids run roughshod all over me. You're going to do what I say do, or you're going to have some consequences. And that's just the way it was. So I don't understand, no punctified parents. I don't. It make me itch to see a parent scared to discipline their child. When I say discipline, I'm not talking about beating, because I never did none of that. But they didn't know that they wasn't going to get no beatings. You know what I mean? I might have drop kicked two of them once in a while. You know what I'm saying? One of them might have got punched up in the chest or whatever. I'm not saying, for sure. I'm just saying they might have. But I don't understand no parents who scared of their kids. Because I was always under the impression that what you do out in them streets is a reflection on me. It's a reflection on what I taught you in the home and the things that you've learned from everywhere else. So when you go out into the world, I expect for you to act accordingly. Otherwise, when you come back home, you're going to get a foot to your ass. And that's just the way it was. Anyway, Dwayne, how you doing? Says shaking the sheets with. What?
So let me ask you this real quick. With this case with these boys, what do you think should have happened in regards to the? I don't know how you can give somebody 321 years. It's kind of like being okay. I'm in the VA. For those of you guys that are vets, you could have over 500% in disability, but the most you're going to get is 100. So this 300 and something years that they gave these kids, what are they expecting these guys to come back 2 or 3 times in a lifetime and come back? What do you think should have been the sentencing in regards to that?
Bad hombre, how you doing? Married before you carry. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna answer that just a second. Trish says I watch Full House or Adorable, but I want a Fresh Prince, Negro Rich, Monies. Okay, brother Sammy, how you doing? Let's see who else is on here before I answer that. I see you guys' comments. Brother Sammy says, did you say you can't have children? I can't have children now. I'm 53 years old, and if I could, I would not.
53. You told me you were 26.
Sometimes it just depends on who you ask. But if you try asking me to have no children, yes, I'm 53, and I would not and could not have no children for nobody. Okay, unless it was a divided. I don't know, married or somebody. Yeah, I was logical thing says Demetri, I know, right? My mama didn't play that either. She always said, I ain't gonna be raising y'all kids. Yeah, that's the way we should be. That's right, Bakari, lady in the streets. Hey, Sister Shirley, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Facts I feel says Demetri is not counting all those times her boyfriend got to third base. I would never tell, because a lady never kisses and tell, but just know I was very productive. Donovan would tell you grass never grew nowhere under my feet because I kept on pushing. And I'm like that to this day. Perry said, don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're going to have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Yes, TLC. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Quincy, thank you so much. How you doing? By the way, love and appreciate you. Said Demetri, be productive and stand. Nah, I'm a lady, and it's going to take a little bit more than $10. Patrice, she says traditions are nullified. Therefore, courting is not a prerequisite for constructing a family. Some psychologists stated this is a major problem for the fatherless home in the Black community. Well, it should be a prerequisite. I think that's what you're saying. It should be a prerequisite. Courting, you have to figure out who you're going to bed with. Most people don't even know. They just jump into bed first and then be like, damn, you were Jezebel. But you would have known. I'm just saying. Delilah, you would have known that had you asked Delilah some questions. See, we need to keep it from here up for a very long time, not start down here. And then once you get that little 2 minutes of woo, then you want to say, so tell me about yourself. Well, what do you want to know? I will start sweating real bad. I just laugh real hard. But anyway. Common man, how you doing? You say 1/3 of the women tested. We don't know how many there are that aren't tested. Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's women who lie all the time. You the pappy, is you. You the only one. And you don't come out looking like you. But again, marry that lady. You know what I mean? Make her an honest woman. and the chances of the baby being yours, it rises significantly. I'm not saying she, won't do it, but I'm saying more than likely that would be your child. But we got to stop making it popular to just hop up and down on people, roll around in the bed, and think that's courting and that's love. It's not. It's a physical thing that unfortunately fools people into thinking, oh, this is a good man. This show is a good woman. She can't even boil hot dog water, but you determined that was a good woman because she let you jump up and down on her for the 2 minutes that you had in you.
But think about it, though. If he's content with her boiling hot dog water, his mama was probably doing that and giving him top ramen. You see it in the stores all the time. He's comfortable with what he sees, what he's been taught. If his mother's living that life, he's not necessarily going to live that lifestyle. But again, your average logical thinker, you guys go to her YouTube channel, subscribe, become a member, all that good stuff. She was saying some good points this morning in regards to, like, we were talking about like reasons why people join the military. Ain't nobody joining no damn military for no patriotism. It ain't happening. Sometimes, they come from bad experiences and they want to get better and move away, whatever the deal is. You guys go check out that video she did today if you guys get a chance. And she kind of elaborates on exactly what we're talking about right here when it comes to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Please follow your average logical thinker and anybody else in who has a YouTube channel. Kaim, how you doing? Says white parents are weak. Some of them. They parent a lot differently than we do. But we have dropped the ball just a little bit in our communities. Sister Shirley says, I got you, Demetri. You have to do as I say. Yeah, you're going to end up getting a foot to your booty. Shalom. Misty, how you doing? Shalom to you as well. It says, I agree with you. All I work in child support. In every case I see is overwhelming to see the father and the mother having multiple cases. Yeah, I mean, at what point do you say, okay, I got 3 kids already, and I'm in a system with all 3 of them. When do you stop?
Yes, ladies. When do you stop having multiple baby fathers? Yes.
Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, I know most men I know got more than one baby mama. Most men that I know got more than one baby.
I have 2 baby mamas. I have 2. That's right. Everybody's entitled to a mistake. But when you got 3, 4, 5, there's a problem.
And let's tell the truth and shame the damn devil. I'm just saying. Eunice says, Demetri, oh, thank you. When I bent over the other day and couldn't get up, I felt every bit of a 93. Okay.
I saw that video. I was cracking my ass. That was just
funny. And wait. And 2 weeks ago, I was coming out the bathroom. I walk fast everywhere I go, even in the house. I walk fast. So I'm walking out of my bathroom and I hit my toe, the end of my foot on the door frame. And when I tell you, I thought I saw Jesus, Mother Mary, and all 12 disciples. I fell out and my foot is still sore from that. And I'm like, damn, I'm getting old, because I would have healed from that in a couple of days, but it was hard for me to put a shoe on. I was like, God, what are you trying to tell me here? So sometimes I feel 53. But anyway, let's see here. All right, so Donovan, you wanted to know what I thought the sentence would be, and I see you guys answering that. Tanya, how you doing? You says, okay, so why are we still bringing children in this world? I mean, we should bring children in the world because, especially in our community, we need to populate, but we need to do it the right way. As they say in the nation, settle down to a good choice. You got to court. You got to figure out who it is you with. You can't just do it backwards. And in our community and with everybody, not just our community, but let's speak of our community, we do it backwards. You see a big old booty. And you're like, oh, that's the one. I just got to have her. And in the words of Demetri K, fellas, you got to say what's behind the booty. It's a big giant booty. Yes, it is. Whether it's real or it's fake, it's a big giant booty. But what else does Judy got going on behind the booty? Is she a good woman? Is she good with money? Can she think? What comes out of her mouth when she speaks? Is she a lady in the streets, and a freak in the street? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is she good at raising children? Like, what's going on in her head? Never mind her booty. I guess, I get it, y'all physical creatures. Y'all like the way a woman looks, but what about how she thinks? What about how she speaks? Is she going to be a good mother to your children? I don't know. I mean, the children are good. We need children, but we need to raise them together the right way.
Do you think do you think one of the reasons why the sentence was so harsh, even though these were juveniles, is because of the prison industrial complex?
So I'm gonna get into that right now. 310, how you doing? So in my opinion, yes, I think the sentence was too high, but then again, okay, I'm gonna try to tackle this the best way I can. So if I'm thinking about the kids, because essentially they were kids and some of them were 17 when it happened. I'm one of those people, I don't think children should be sentenced to life, because I think when they get older, they may be different people. They may mature. They may think differently. As the Bible says, when I was a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, I put away those childish things and, basically did what men or adults do. But then if I'm those parents of the children that were at a Sweet 16 party and they're just having a good time and some bullets come raining through the house and my child is the one that is no longer here, yeah, I would want justice. And I would have to decide, what justice looks like for me, that my child that I'll never see again, right, was taken in such a senseless manner over a social media post. That's what is being deduced down to now, is gang banging over social media post, right? But I just don't think children should be sentenced to that. I just don't, and again, God forbid I never have to be on the other side of that. Perhaps I change my mind, but I do believe children should benefit from some sort of redemption. 320 years, some of them got 20 years for just being there, right? I think 320 years is there is never any redemption in that, but I don't know. How do you feel about that if that was your child? You know what I mean? And I don't think the judge really wanted to do that, but I think, as he said, he needed to send a message like, you can't just be shooting in people's houses over a social media post, right? And a lot of those kids, they think they're going to go home at night, eat dinner, wake up, and then go about their business the next day after they just took somebody's child's life, a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old who were there probably doing the latest dances, drinking punch, doing what 15 and 14-year-olds do. And that's what those kids should have been doing. They should have been doing what children do. Children do not run around with, automatic weapons and spraying up people's houses. That's not what adults shouldn't be doing that. But children think that's what they should do. So yeah, they should pay for it, but I don't think they should pay for the rest of their life. Now that may make me a bad person, but yeah, took 320 years. That's but then I also think you got to remember too, is that prisons are private, and I don't care what they say that, they said, oh, Biden got rid of the private institutions as far as prisons. He did, but he didn't, because there's what they call the middleman that get money from the government and then they fund those private prisons. So with private prisons, there's an investor. The investor needs a return on their investment. So they need those prison beds 90% full, which means they need a 90% occupancy in order to give the investors a return on the money that they invested in these prisons. So you do that by locking people's babies up. And I'm going to use the word baby loosely, but children up for 320 years, because that bed won't be empty for a while. And if you get them in there for a year, then they, chalk up other charges and they get more years added on, because they don't want those beds empty, because then they have to answer to their investors. Now, I say all that to say, if you educate your children on the prison industrial complex and what it really means, then I think they will make different decisions. Tell them that they are money for people who don't give a damn about them, right? So let me get all the way down to the bottom. Let's see who else came on here. Ardiva says, so she's so fine, ain't no telling where the money went. TW, how you doing? Says, most men think with the second hand, the most women with the heart, sex is physical for men and emotional for women. Yeah, so when you put those two together, you get a fool. You get two fools, right? He said that's a part of the problem. As men, we put focus on outside beauty without looking inside first. And it's just the problem since the beginning of time, right? I don't know if that'll ever be fixed, but damn, at least make sure you like the lady just a little bit. Kara, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Darius, what's going on with you? Greetings to you. He says, well, I simply say Just being truthful and honest with myself. I really don't care about this. Okay, well, come back with something you do care about. I see people saying, where are the fathers at? Curly Girl, you says, yep, we need to raise our children right. They are the innocent ones. Yeah, it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they got two silly parents. Terry says that's a 3 life sentence. Yeah, then they're never getting out. Raven says, yes, Donovan, I have seen Black people in the courtroom with no priors get 3 years in prison for personal use of weed, and white dudes with prior convictions up the ass get continued probation. Prison industrial complex, real for us. Yeah, it is for us. It is for us, right? So I know there's a lot of us that get caught up on things we didn't do, but some of the things that we do or we want to do, we need to think twice before we do them, right?
Real quick, Marathon Blue says, at Damon, I'm stating facts. Donovan said he got his first baby mama pregnant and then ran off to war to learn how to be a man. Laugh out loud. And she had to put him on child support. He wasn't in the home. Did I say that on this show? Did I say any of that?
I don't recall hearing you saying that.
Moderators, please block Marathon Blue. Please block.
I didn't hear that.
Again, that's these bitter women that, you know, that's their go-to to try to shame a man, and they don't even know the whole story. That's the first thing she's thinking about. Oh, he did this. I didn't say none of that. I said I've got 2 baby mamas.
Rodney, how you doing? Says my grandma's best friend had a grandson named Damian Todd. In the 80s, he shot a shotgun at a girl's party, and he'd been in prison since. Yeah, you know, sometimes it just make horrible decisions and it costs you the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And Timex Love, you say there has to be a way to get the message across. There will be consequences for these young people's actions. Yeah, we got to teach our children from the cradle. You can't start teaching them when they in junior high. You got to teach them from the cradle how to be good humans. If you do not teach that, then, you know, they just kind of on their own, especially in the day of social media where they learning any and everything. And as I say this too, y'all could be mad at me, be that mad at your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, whoever. But ain't no way in hell I'll let my child be on social media by themselves. Matter of fact, you ain't going to be on social media until you have a need to be on social media. But some of y'all, not y'all, but them, y'all allow y'all babies to roam on social media. You don't know who they're talking to, what they're watching, what they're inculcating. Y'all don't even care because y'all on social media too. And it's the phone, the tablet, whatever it is, has become the babysitter, and you irresponsibly leave your children unattended on social media. And as I always ask parents, would you allow your child to be in a dark alley with a stranger in the middle of the night? And you say, oh God, no. Well, it's the equivalent of leaving your child on social media and not know what they're doing. It's the same thing. You might as well drop them off in the nearest alley somewhere in at midnight and say, you're on your own. Whatever you come across, good luck. It's the same thing. So that social media is a big influence. That's why they call them influencers, because their job is to influence whoever is watching them. And if you're allowing your child to be influenced by the internet, that is on you. Because remember, those boys did what they did behind the social media post. What happened to teaching your children emotional intelligence? Hey, don't get emotionally involved in something that ain't got nothing to do with you. So what? They said something on social media, so you go spray up a house party? You got to teach our children how to be emotionally responsible. We don't do that because the parents aren't emotionally responsible. Hell, I saw the other day, it was a 38-year-old lady who, and I'm like, is it still fashionable? People, grown-ups, get on Facebook and they beef with one another. They, you know, going back and forth. This lady was beefing with some other ladies. She took herself over to these other, I guess they was together, ladies' house, knocked on the door, drove up to the neighborhood, whatever it is, and they beat her up and pew-pewed her to death. Now, this started on Facebook. Grown-ups did this on Facebook. And then you wonder why your children are silly. Because your mama and your daddy silly too. Just saying. I don't know who Marathon Blue is. Let's see here. Kara says, damn, created a whole scenario.
Marathon Blue is probably one of the Democratic trolls that is still trying to get some of that money that Kamala's raising to kind of keep going, you know.
I guess. Common Man says African Americans should blame themselves, point blank, period. I get sick of African Americans blaming everyone but self. Yeah, I'm with you. And I totally agree. Ooh, hour and 19 minutes. Let's see. We're about to get out of here. Facts Not Feelings says, in an apartheid system, we should not legitimize it by saying you made a bad decision as a kid, therefore you pay. I mean, I don't think you should get away with, taking somebody's life. I think you should pay some time, but 320 years is a lot. You know what I mean?
How many of you guys remember the movie Bad Boys? Not the Martin Lawrence one, the one with Sean Penn and what's his name? I forgot, Ila Rios or whatever his name is. And it was about Sean Penn. He's a bad boy, whatever, got caught doing a robbery and stuff. And in the late 70s, early 80s, whatever. He goes to a boys' prison. And Ali Sheedy's in it as well. It's his girlfriend. A lot of stars are in that movie. And it basically talked about what this, that type of incarceration does to young people. Because in it, he grew up. He had a mother that was kind of doing her own thing. If you guys haven't seen it, it's called Bad Boys. Sean Penn is the star of it. Go check that movie out. I saw it. I played it for my sons. I played it for my nephew. It is definitely, Sean Penn should have won an Oscar back then for that movie, in my opinion.
A lady D says, I have cousins in prison doing life on Facebook, acting like he's living like a king. Oof. Yeah, the whole prison issue situation just makes me sad. I've gone to prisons out here to talk to certain people, and it's sad. Especially the ones out in the South, they look like plantations. I'm like, oh my God, it's just sad. It's really sad. You know what I mean? Yeah, Frederick, 320 years is a lot. And let's see here, Raven, you made a good point. It says emotional intelligence. A lot of us grown folks didn't have that during the presidential run, but I digress. And they still don't. I see people still crashing out over politics. I watched Savior's Day 2017, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was on the money in regards to some of the things that I guess were supposed to happen then, but we see it happening now. I suggest you guys go watch that. But yeah, cutting people off and stuff. And I saw that, I guess they're trying to get mad at Snoop because he was like, I didn't have a dog in the fight. I don't get into that. He says he didn't vote. I think that's what he says. He says, I'm voting for, what did he say? For the gangsters or something like that. And so now I see people mad talking about, oh, well, he didn't fight for democracy. He should be canceled. It's like, shut up. You ain't never canceling Snoop Dogg. Never. Okay. Let's see. Carrie says, I hope they appeal and get a lesser sentence. Yeah, they got 30 days to appeal. Common Man, yeah, this is live. We are live. I see your comments. I'm responding to your comments. We're live. Trisha says there are conditions and policies that work against disadvantaged socioeconomic families, most Black and Hispanics. Oh, that's absolutely. And that's a fact. But we need to be educated to that. We can no longer run around here not knowing what we are up against as Black people, right? We have to be aware of that. Let's raise our children accordingly. As I tell my nephews, especially my younger ones, society don't see you as a Black boy. They see you as a Black man. And it's not your fault, but you got to know what you're dealing with. When you walk out into society, they don't say, oh, that's a cute little Black boy, a Black teenager. They say that's a Black man and he is a threat in every way, shape, or form to us. And in their brain, they see a fully grown Black man. They don't see a juvenile. So we have to raise our children with the knowledge. We cannot have our children be out in these streets ignorant, right? And then you see a lot of people mad about Trump getting rid of the Department of Education. What good has it done us as Black people? Why continue sending your child to a school that's not going to teach them right? You should be teaching them at home. They're not going to teach your Black boy that you are seen as a man and that you got a target on your back. They're not going to teach your Black son how to act accordingly. They're not going to teach your Black children knowledge of self. But yet, and this is what I will say about the Democrats, they hold that as, red meat for Black people, especially to be mad at. Oh, they taking these books out the school system. Hell, you don't got them at home? Why you ain't got those? You ain't never gave a damn about a book so much as when you heard Ron DeSantis was getting rid of them. But do you got that in your personal library at home? If you ain't got it at home, then why you mad at the white man for not having it at school? See, that's where we need to start taking personal accountability for the things that go on in our community. I'm not saying there's not a such thing as systemic and institutional racism. It is. It will always be that. But how do we minimize the effects on us? We can do that. I'm just saying. Chantel, you says had to switch accounts, had to run to the store for the cats. Yeah, you can't forget the cats. Curly Girl says some parents do not want to correct their children, and that's another issue. My whole community disciplined us. Yeah, not my baby. Yeah, a lot of parents say, not my baby, not my. No, don't say nothing to my baby, and then your baby be the main one out there causing havoc in the neighborhood. You know, and then when your baby get in trouble, you want the neighborhood to rally to your defense. It's like, what we tried to tell you. But you kept saying, not my baby, leave my baby alone. Don't say nothing to my baby. Well, you go deal with your baby, ma'am, sir. Go deal with your baby. Brother Simon says, I think a big thing that can be done to improve predominantly Black schools is to outlaw cell phones in public schools. Yep, and you're a teacher, so you would know, right? They are distraction devices and used to plan fights and cheat on tests. Schools would automatically improve if they take them out. Yeah, but again, you have the mamas saying, why you take my child's phone? You don't pay the bill on that. What if they need to call me? But we didn't have no cell phones. You had to go up to the office and ask the receptionist in the office, can I call my mom? I'm going to need a ride. Or I don't feel good. Can I call my mama? Or if you have some money, you put it in the little pay phone. But you didn't have a phone up in the classroom recording all kind of stuff and just being a distraction. So I totally agree with you. I don't know why the school don't take that from them. You say you need to leave it at home or lock it up. You know, like if you go to concerts, they lock their cell phones up in little plastic bags and you cannot get them until you leave because they don't want you recording the concert. So maybe they can do something like that. Echo, how you doing? So Donovan clearly said that he wasn't in the home with. So is this somebody else? Huh? I don't know. I didn't hear Donovan say.
No, exactly. No, that's not that's the same troll. See, he has to make that money because Kamala Harris is on that ass. She wants the money that she gave for you to troll. Because there's no way that I even said that.
Hey, I don't know who that is. Tanaya says the judge was sending a performative message, but like 50 years is good. I would even say maybe 20, you know, maybe 50 and they get a chance to parole out early, but 320 is just like, yikes. Because with Brad or Chad, would they have gotten 350 years? We've seen, as I said, I think it was Patrice that mentioned affluenza. You know, there's a lot of people in their community, oh, they were too rich to know better, or they're too rich to go to prison. It's like, money is not going to be of any consequence behind bars. Okay, it ain't going to matter. They'll learn how to get top ramen and, you know, zuzus and wham whams and make a spread and all of that. Listen, I ain't never been to prison, but I know how it goes down. I'm just saying. Agent Black, he says, Donovan, what do you think about California passing that act that shows slavery slows or in prison?
Symbolism.
Well, yeah, so that law, a particular bill in California, I guess it was on the ballot, and somehow people voted to keep a form of slavery in prison, and that inmates work for very little. I guess they had a chance to earn a little bit more money and things like that, but the people said no.
No, well, actually, the bill was to remove slavery out of the prisons where the prisoners don't have to work, and that would have never passed because it goes against the Constitution. The only form of slavery we have now in the United States is if you are incarcerated, you are now technically a slave. That's in the Constitution. So these liberals, again, common sense stuff, people. How does a prisoner reform if all they got to do is sit in there, somebody put money on their books, and they're just sitting there chilling, becoming a super prisoner? There's got to be some kind of reformation to make them not want to go back there. When I was in Japan, and those of you guys that have been overseas, in Turkey, if you get convicted of a crime and you have to go to prison, the state doesn't feed you. Your family has to feed you. The burden falls on your family. So in the United States, in that bill, I'm glad it didn't pass, because this is what we mean that the left has gone too far left. That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to prison, you have to pay some sort of price. So yes, you should be, the state should be able to use you for cheap labor to get things done. You know, we got trash on the side of the roads, people throwing stuff out on the highways and stuff. We need that type of labor. So I'm glad it went down, but it would have been challenged because it goes against the Constitution.
Gaston Feeling says, I disagree. Demetria, it's a mistake to normalize Blacks living as second-class citizens in America by teaching Blacks that just the way it is, behave yourself, be extra careful. I mean, it's the truth. What are we going to lie? I'm not saying we second-class citizens, but we've always been that since we were put on those plantations, even when we was let go. We've always been considered a second-class citizen. I'm not saying we got to act like that, but unfortunately, we act like second-class citizens, third-class, fourth-class citizens, right? We got to stop acting like second-class citizens as well. This is like, Farrakhan said, Elijah Muhammad, James Baldwin says that we did not create the N-word. That's why I don't get mad when they say it. That's not our word. We get all upset. You can't say the N-word. Like we got some type of ownership of that. Why you want to own that word anyway? But unfortunately, as they said, we act like that. We continue to act like what they have taught us that we are, forgetting that we were kings, queens, scientists, doctors, and everything else you can think of. We were not that, but we behaved that way. And so in regards to a second-class citizen, let's stop acting like second-class citizens. Y'all got to remember, I know we weren't there, but there was a time when Miss Ann would come get Big Bertha to raise her children because Big Bertha knew how to raise children when Miss Ann didn't know what the hell she was doing. She didn't go get, in her mind, you think Miss Ann went and got a second-class citizen? Yes, she might have thought that on the surface, but she went and got the best woman around to raise her children and teach her children to be civilized. But now we act uncivilized. So that part is on us. I don't expect for white people to treat us civilized. That's not something I'm ever going to do. We need to treat ourselves and teach ourselves to be civilized. See, it's about personal responsibility as well. We're in the age of knowing. We're not in a situation where we don't know these things. We know these things. That's all I'm saying. Darius, I see you still here. I thought you was leaving. Buckhurst says, she says, Miss Queen K, when I get paid, I will support. Oh, thank you. Eric, you say, what community? Yeah, we don't necessarily have a community where it functions. We have a neighborhood, but we used to. We need to get back to that. We just do. Ada D says, the system is designed to break our people up and down mentally and emotionally. And we know that, right? Gigi, how you doing? Long time no see. Perry says the Department of Education needs to be disbanded. I mean, what good has it done us? Gary, how you doing? Says, hey, Donovan, remember Bad Boy? I remember Bad Boys when it was in the theater in the early 80s up in the Bronx. I saw it on a cable a few years ago. Very interesting and violent movie. He says the other actor was Isai Morales. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great actor. Gosh, I mean, there were a lot of great actors in that movie.
Well, Kamala's still trying to collect her money. She like, hell, Mad Dog, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, so I'm gonna get to the bottom because I know we're about to get out of here. Queen of Diet, how you doing? Hope you're doing well this evening. You also say parents are not training. Yeah, I mean, that's on us. You got to train your children what they need to know. Frederick says we're fifth-class citizens now. Well, I don't think that we are. But if we're gonna answer to that, we're gonna behave that way. If somebody call you something you're gonna act that way. You know what I mean? Candy says that's not true. They get 3 meals a day in prison in the state of Texas. They probably nasty. Ooh. Brother Dine says if they have to work, the average wage should be paid to the incarcerated person for them to make restitution to the victims. Now that would be too much. Like, right? Yeah, I mean, what are they making? A couple of cents a day or something like that?
Yeah, like if they're fighting fires, it's like $1 an hour or something like that. If they're fighting fires in California, but then again. Let's just be real about it. How does locking up the father or the absentee parent in a child support case help the situation? Not only do you lock him or her up, he still owes the money. Usually if you go to jail and you do your time, hey, I'm free. I don't owe anything. But no, we're locking them up and making the situation worse.
Jackson Finland says we're treated as second-class citizens even when we behave like first-class citizens. The problem is not Black people. The problem is we are trapped in apartheid with our slavers. I mean, I concede all that too. But, do we care? I know systemically and institutionally, yeah, we should care how they treat us, but we got to start treating ourselves like the kings and queens that we are as well. You know what I mean? We have to do our part. That's all I'm saying.
I don't mean to change the subject, but have you seen Jim Hill, the sportscaster here? That little toupee he's got on his head, it's all jacked up. It's like, brother, you don't see. Go ahead.
You don't want to let it go?
It's how they put it on there. It's all messed up. It's like, brother, come on now. Come on. Yeah. Jim Hill is like almost 80 or something. If he looks it, but.
Yeah, he can't be on TV with his dome shining like you. Ma'am, how you doing? It says crime in Atlanta among juveniles is out of control. We need an action that would deter juveniles' violence. I agree with a harsh sentence. If it was my child, it could be 400 years. So yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I can't tell those parents how to feel. You know, Erica says a trashy rat community. What community? Well, come on now, you're being a little too hard. Queen of Dice says private prisons are $1 billion industry. In order to gain a profit, was to have a human warm. Yep, the bed. We are hated people. That is a word. The elders are to train the young people. Yeah, we need to get back to that. You know, putting a little fire to the backside. Just a little bit, nothing too much. There he says, yes, ma'am, Sister K, admin, amen, and the man speak the gospel truth and shame the devil. All right now, hallelujah. Yiko Boy says, where your sky piece? He says, where's my sky piece? What's a sky piece? All right, I'm gonna skip down. Oh, I got to the bottom. YFN, he says, slavers sign the checks. Yeah. Fred says, will Joe Biden pardon Grandmaster Jay? Now you know damn well. I think he should. We all know that, you know, he went up on some BS. But yeah. Raven says Proposition 36 in California passed, and the jails and prisons coming after homeless people. Yep. The Supreme Court said that you can lock homeless people up now. DZ, he says, what? DZ, are you the same person, DZ? You coming back as different people?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but look, I got a significant other. Please, I'm not interested.
I'm gonna stay out of that. Buckhorse, she says, I served my time in hell. I ain't going back to the plantation. I know that's right. Please do not go back. We love you free. El Hombre Negro, you says, and cut 400 years down to 4 years. Learn some stuff quickly. Yeah, Warren Getty, how you doing? Says, will y'all cover when Trump uses his National Guards to take out black rioters from the air? Where the black rioters at?
Number one, the president cannot use the National Guard because that is a state militia. He has a national. He has to nationalize the whole thing. And he doesn't have a good reason to do that. You just can't. The president can only deal with federal. It has to be some kind of national emergency for him to initiate the National Guard. So no, please know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Donovan. And I know there's still a lot of fear mongering going on out there. You know, oh, this is that and that's going to happen. Well, let's not be rioting in the streets. You know what I mean? Let's build from within. And that starts in the household. People ask me all the time, what do we need to do? You need to start at home. You can't be on these platforms screaming and hollering at black people you don't know when your kids or your wife or your husband don't know what you're talking about, right? As I said, my daughter can sit right here. I can say, hey, Deanna, I'm not doing it today. Can you sit in the chair and do the show? She could do it. She could do it without a problem because I'm not talking to y'all and not talking to my daughter or my nieces and nephews.
You know, me and Deanna would be arguing back and forth on this show for a whole hour.
She'd have you in a headlock verbally, okay? She would have you in a headlock. She learned from the best. But I'm saying we got to teach these things at home. Teach these principles. Teach about economics. Teach about, you know, being upstanding. Teach about settle down to a good choice. Don't lay down with men and women and boys and girls that you don't want to be with, right? Those are things that we should teach. We also got to have our children see us in conducive relationships. If the children are predominantly raised by single moms in the home, you know, in our community, that means that they probably have not seen their mama in a loving relationship with a man. And a lot of times the daddy got 14 different girlfriends in the child's lifetime. So the kids don't see a conducive relationship between the parents. All they see is mama's introducing them to Uncle whoever. This is Uncle Pookie. This is Uncle Ray Ray. And then, you know, the daddy, oh, this is my girlfriend. And then the kid get a whooping because they call her Helen when it ain't Helen. They thought it was Helen. Now it's Barbara. The children can't keep up. So the children learn degeneracy from us. When they see mama swinging the door open like a revolving door, a different dude walking through every other week, and the daddy picking the kids up, and there's a new broad in the front seat of the car, you know, with daddy. So when they start seeing us working out, then they'll know how to do that themselves.
Or is it a dude, or is it a what do you call it? A butch? I mean, confusing the kids with that. I mean, this is your daddy, but it's a theme. Again, we are moving from the left, moving more to the center. We've got to right this ship, and this is where all the confusion is coming in our community. Foolishness.
Well, since you put it that way, is a lot of times mama bring home a man and he's so sissified he can't tell the difference if he a man or a woman either. I'm just putting it on out there.
Okay? Absolutely, and that's what happens when the father is not in the home.
How you doing? Says prisoners in Illinois have to cut the state a part of their check down with all 50 cents of it. Once released, also I found out they make money or take money from prisons for child support, but child doesn't get a monthly check. Yeah, it's all a hustle. It's a hustle. It's free labor. So anyway,
do they pay taxes on the money they earn? They probably do.
Do they got to file a income tax return? I made $1.52 last year, and we want 90% of it. Valerie, how you doing? Says Trump finds a way to the National Guard for deportation is not our people, not our problem. Okay, mind your business. Mind your business. I mean, facts, not feelings. I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But, we can't keep pointing the finger when a lot of that, Brother Reggie, we about to get out of here, though, when a lot of that is on us, The government is not in the home with you all the time, are they? You're mostly in the home with your own child. So you need to take responsibility as far as that is concerned. Gerald, how you doing? Says, amazing how many people don't know how our government works. Yeah, but they listen to, memes and stuff on either disgruntled people talking about what's going to happen. It's like, just
and what kills me about that, because you bring up a good point. If they know what's going to happen, please tell me the lottery numbers, because it has to happen before it actually happens.
Right. Monica, and we're going to get out of here. It says in Toronto, Canada, 23 young Black boys arrested for spraying up a music studio. Apparently they were beefing, doing some clapback drill music like Drake and Kendrick. Who knows what they'll be sentenced to. Yeah. But I always say this too. If anybody outside of you is more influential in the life of your child, it ain't Drake and Kendrick's problem, it's yours. Nobody should be more influential in the life of your child than you. Nobody's going to be more influential in the child life of my daughter than me and her father and her immediate circle. That's just the way it is, okay? She's never going to say Megan Thee Stallion told me to do it. Cardi B told me to do it. She's never going to be able to say none of those things because she was taught better. So I get it. It's easy. Yeah, I know that stuff influences children, but why do you have your children watching TV and listening to the radio and they ignorant? And you ain't taught them nothing different. You haven't taught them anything in juxtaposition to what they're inculcating. You just put them in front of the TV, listening to, see, back in the day when I was a kid, I wasn't around my parents when they listened to any and everything, because they was like, you going up in the room now, certain things, they didn't do all any and every kind of thing around the children. But nowadays, parents are doing any and everything around the children, listening to everything, watching everything. Like if you are sitting up watching Power, Ghost, or any of that other stuff, BMF with your child, you're a horrible parent. That is adult entertainment, not children. And I have no teachers who say their kids come to school talking about the latest episode of BMF, the latest episode of Power, whatever the case is. And she's like, your parents let you watch that stuff? Oh.
Yeah, and what's really scary is you've got this so-called educate. Like I said, I'm embarrassed by Kamala Harris and a lot of these sororo people. I mean, you're saying this is a Black woman and all this other stuff. I mean, it's like you went to college and you can't decipher common sense stuff. These are the people that had children, that are raising children and grandchildren, and this is what they're putting in these kids' heads. I'm not saying everybody's perfect, because everybody has a right to do what they want to do, but the fear mongering, fear is taught. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of it. The Brad, how you doing? Says, dear heart, praying your back is much better. It does well throughout the day, but when I go to sleep, I'm like, ow. It's just old people thing, but it's gonna get better. I exercise anyway, Eric. I'm gonna leave on your comments.
Back injury never heals.
I don't have back problems. Normally, I just think I got up the wrong way and turned, because I picked up a trash can lid, and that's what I need a man for. I shouldn't be having to pick up trash can lids from the curb.
Finally, you're coming around and you're seeing what we're talking about.
I ain't never said, listen, Demetri K ain't never said she don't need no man. You will never hear that come out of my mouth. Never. I think of that every time I pull the trash can out. And I thought about it when I was stuck there on the curb, like, Lord, what have I done to deserve this? If you could just let me make it, get up one more time. Eric, you said stop opening your legs to any low-life bum and Pookie. That I 100% agree with. And I'll tell you this. Tell your homies and your sons and your nephews and everybody else, stop being any low-life bum Pookie. Okay? Because with that, a lady lays down with a man, he should not be that. Okay? Y'all tell us women to stop doing this, that, and the other. Can you men stop start raising your sons to not be low-life bums and Pookies? I'm just asking.
Exactly. And I want to leave you guys with this. And and this actually happened to a neighbor of mine in the neighborhood. Allegedly, a laptop was taken or whatever. Apple something traced it to a certain house. The sheriffs, the police in my community went over there and they were going through the trash can. Okay. And they call me. I happen to go up there and I'm just watching what was going on. I want you guys to know this. Unless your trash can is on the public sidewalk, whatever, if it's on there, it's free game. Anybody can get it. But if the trash can is on your property, the police do not have a right to go into your trash. They have to get a warrant. Just remember that. A lot of people think, oh, it's outside. It's not inside my house. If it's on your property, they have to get a warrant to go through your trash. Unbeknownst that this young person gave them the permission to go in the house, they found the laptop and whatever to be said. Again, do not give the police any permission to come into your house, because under the auspices of direct sight, if they see your little roach clip there or something that's not supposed to be there in your house, they can charge you with a crime. But at the same time that you invite them into your house, you can also uninvite them. So remember that. But a lot of people think, oh, my trash can, they can't go through my trash, whatever. They can't, not on your property. They have to have a warrant. Just remember that in case there's something going on.
And more importantly, just have trash up in your trash can, okay? Don't be having nothing that they need to be searching for. I'm just saying. Some chicken bones, if that's your thing, fish bones, banana peels, apples, paper. Just have that stuff up in there. You ain't got to worry about that. Anyway, we've overstayed our time. Love and appreciate every last one of you all. Please join us on Tuesday. We're going to have our podcast and our live show. We'll continue to talk about these things. We're going to mix it up a little bit. Try to talk about, different subjects or whatever. Hope you guys enjoyed today. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your evening, and we will see y'all. What? Queen of Dice says there will be no whores. If there are no whoremongers, oh Lord, take your rightful position where the Most High has called you kings and queens. Yeah, that is.
I gotta say this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go against that. That is the oldest profession in the world, and you need it, and you need to have that out there. There's a reason why God has sanctioned that.
God ain't sanctioned no hoe, no damn where, okay? Y'all sanction the hoes.
Hey, Mary Magdalene, Jesus hung out with him too. So stop it.
He didn't make them the baby mamas though, okay? Jesus didn't make Mary Magdalene no baby mama. So y'all be making them baby mamas and then be mad that they your baby mama. Zip it up, partner, zip it up. Zip it up. It's only 2 minutes. 2 minutes is not worth a lifetime of hell. That's all I'm gonna say. I love you guys. Warren, you said you voted blue. Well, how did that turn out for you? I'd have kept that to myself. Anyway, love y'all. Peace. Yes, the Jezebel spirit runs deep, and so does the Ahab, Eric. Bye.